Dear Starshines, tangent spinner here, spinner tangents, rants random. I'm sorry, it's been so long since I've updated a video. A bunch of random shit was happening and my phone's a piece of shit. So, update. My grandma was in ICU for a few days. They weren't sure if she was going to make it. They're still not sure if she's going to make it, but now it's a when the next sickness comes around, she'll be like 50% less likely to even make it to the hospital kind of thing. So they're thinking of putting her in hospice. I dropped my phone in the fucking toilet, and afterwards, once I'd had it in rice overnight and everything like that, it still turned on, it still worked, but now the battery goes out even faster, and it takes even longer to recharge. So I'm probably going to have to get a new phone soon, but I can't afford that right now, so there's that. And on top of that, I just really didn't feel like reading. I was so fucking tired all the time. I just wanted to sleep. So, there's that bit. But anyway, I'm back with the next part of WebMage in this Let's Read. We're doing Chapter 7. When we left off in Chapter 6, Lachesis had banned Ravern from the IMWeb. And that meant he couldn't contact Cerise. And then he was getting all butthurt because, oh my god, I might really care for this girl, and she thinks I'm ignoring her, and I really want to see where we're going, and I can't even contact her because, you know, apparently they don't have cell phones. When everything's based off the internet. I don't know, that doesn't really make much sense to me at all, because they both live on campuses. I mean, I guess they could be in, like, different worlds or something like that, which would make more sense. But you'd think that they'd have, like, I don't know, magical cell phones so you could call people without having to, like, instant message, video, hologram, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that you're my only hope, that shit. But, yeah, so in order to get to his we had sex once and that must mean something friend, he built himself a fairy ring to teleport, which is like a really dangerous really dangerous flu travel. So we're taking off of Chapter 7. We're on Part 1 now. This video probably won't be long because, as I said, my phone's being a dick. It's on the charger right now. It's at 100%, and in the 2 and change minutes, almost 3 minutes, it's already down to 85. So, let's start reading then. Intense, stabbing cold filled my universe. It made the 15-degree chill of the snowstorm I'd left feel like an hour in the sauna. Involuntarily, I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, I was elsewhere. I had the briefest impression of an orange, sun-baked cliffs and a low ring of cacti, like a donut that had been dropped into a jar of stick pins. I smelled pinon and sage. Then the cold took me again. This time, I was in a brown and green swamp redolent with the stink of rotting vegetation. The fairy ring was formed by a snake, its own tail between its teeth, swimming in a slow circle around a tiny island. The cold came again. Things began to get really weird. It was like one of those college parties that died of an inertia around 3 a.m. The sensible people had gone home. Everyone who's going to get lucky has, and they've left too. The drinkers are passed out in the corners. The remaining partygoers are collapsed in front of the TV while someone who's into hallucinogens and channel surfing uses the remote to set a new world speed record. 1,000 settings flickered across the front of my eyes too quickly for me to take them in. Each transition was punctuated by a brief blast of Arctic cold. Oh, I got an... I don't know who that is. Each transition was punctuated by a Arctic cold, and it all seemed to be getting faster. I felt my brain growing numb as I was repeatedly clubbed by sensory input. It became difficult to hold my destination in my mind's eye. That was the danger. It would be terribly easy to give up my sense of self and let the ring carry me where they would. Rings carry me where they would, sorry. Unfortunately, I was pretty sure that if I let go of myself, I'd never see me again. Powerful magic was involved, and I had no reason to expect that my physical and mental selves would have to arrive at the same place. I started thinking about taking a break, stepping out into the next world that looked even remotely inviting. But that wasn't a good idea either. Looking inviting and being habitable are not necessarily related. That's when I saw the tiny door in the base of the tree. It was only a flash, then it was gone, but I recognized it. Mentally, I wrenched the process around and went back. It was very like channel surfing. I kept going up and down the line, slowly narrowing in on the right program. I stood in a perfect circle of dead grass. On my right was the fountain that lay just in front of the Harvard Student Union. Behind me was the yard. Directly in front was a grand old oak tree with a tiny door between two roots. The door was dark green and no more than 3 inches high. I remembered it from the visit I'd made while I was just a few miles away at MIT, back when I'd been on my grandmother's good side, and still living in one of the primary threads of reality. It was probably around 1 a.m., but the area was still heavily populated. I staggered out of the circle before it carried me away again. Then I dropped to my knees and threw up. Around me, people did what they always do when someone appears magically in their midst. They assumed they'd been looking away at the critical moment and ignored me, pretending nothing had happened. Throwing up helped the process along enormously. Pretending you don't see someone becoming violently ill around bar rush is an ingrained survival skill on most college campuses. When I was done being sick, I slid my atham from my inner pocket and superstitiously pricked the ball of my thumb. Then I flicked a bit of blood at the center of the circle, sealing it. Before I came through, it was probably just a proto-ring, not a gate at all. But now it was as much an invitation to disaster as an open manhole cover with a bit of newspaper covering it. My blood would hold it shut for a night and a day, then it would be open for business. I'd have to arrange to destroy it before then. I put the atham away and dragged myself into a standing position. If I was remembering things properly from my previous visit to campus, there were internet-ready computers and hookups in the Union. The architecture was typical 70s Ivy League, lots of open space and preformed concrete. A twisted loop of stainless steel entitled Infinity sat just inside the doors. It must have been art, because I couldn't think of anything else it would look like that, except probably a locust transfer gone terribly wrong. I paused long enough to get a soda out of the nearby machine and slam it, washing away the taste of vomit, then dropped into a chair. When I reached into my bag, Mel bit me. "Ow! Serves you right," said a sullen voice. "What did I do?" I asked. "Do you want the whole list or just the most recent and relevant bits?" I couldn't stop myself. I chuckled. He sounded so aggrieved and I couldn't help but think of the image I must... Sorry, I forgot to watch the timer. He sounded so aggrieved, and I couldn't help but think of the image I must be projecting for anyone who cared to watch. Since my arrival, I had thrown up, stabbed myself in the thumb, staggered into the Union, and here I was talking to my shoulder bag. "Why don't you just hit the highlights, Mel?" "Well, most immediately, you just stuck a finger in my eye, and another in my mouth. That justified biting you all by itself. But you also carried me through the Powers damned fairy ring in goblin shape, instead of as a laptop, which meant I have a stomach for the entire trip. I won't be forgiving you for that anytime soon." "I'm sorry, I didn't know what it was going to be like." "What do you mean?" asked Mel, his voice deceptively calm. "I've never actually used a fairy ring before. I know the theory, of course, but it never seemed like a good idea to test it." "Are you bleeding much?" asked Mel. I checked. "Yeah, you got me pretty good." "Well, that's something at least." "Thanks, Mel. I'd love to continue this conversation, but I need a hookup. Malquire, laptop, execute." The shoulder bag writhed around in my lap. When it stopped moving, I pulled out my laptop and hooked it into the local Wi-Fi net. A quick search verified that Cerise was listed as a graduate research assistant in Comp Sci. Cracking the payroll department to find her address took a bit longer, but not much. Predictably, the doors to the graduate dorms were locked. If I dared, I'd have run open sesame, but we've had to tap into the interweb to do that, and I didn't want my signature showing up in any Dick locus other than my own. I'd have to get in the hard way. Fortunately, I'd been able to pry the building schematic out of the campus computers. Alright, guys. I'm probably going to stop there for now. This will make this a 3-part story, I believe. Yeah, it'll probably be 3. No, wait, no, never mind. It'll probably be 2.5 or something. I don't know, probably 3. But yeah, no, so we're going to stop right there. He made it through the crazy flu. I really want to know what the fuck the little door in the tree is. I don't know if it's like an art piece, because I've seen those things where people put little doors on things. But we'll have to see next time. Sorry. I meant to do this video last night, and by the time I got off work, my phone was at 25%, and I was like, yeah, no. So, anyways, I'm going to spin on out of here. You guys know how YouTube works. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, dislike, whatever. So I will see you guys next time. So remember, you're all my Starshines. Bye.